All right, we are live, everyone. Welcome to a discussion of Wano Act 3 of One Piece. I am delighted to be here today with all of you, my nakama, my friends, the people who have been so helpful to me on this journey. I could not be more happy to be sharing this moment with you guys who are able to be here live, but also thank you to those of you who come later. For the replay, we always are grateful to Team Replay. And a huge thank you to my friend Jonathan here from JP Laugh Tales, who is going to be helping me out, the veteran right here with me. Jonathan, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Philip. I mean, I've been watching your journey for a very long time, and everyone knows that Wano is the big one that, we'll wait for you in Wano. That's one of the most common phrases that people get when they're reading this story. And you made it, and you finished it. So I'm really excited to be here with you during this moment to talk about that arc.
Well, thank you so much. And I also want to shout out we have a couple people who volunteered to be moderators in the chat to make sure we stay spoiler free for anything. Please do not spoil anything beyond Wano, and also be respectful, be kind. But we do have moderators there to make sure everything is cool in the chat. I'm looking forward to you guys in the chat being part of this as well. I'm going to do my best to highlight some comments as Jonathan and I discuss. I've got the basically the talking points all laid out there. We're going to follow that more or less, but I'm sure there are going to be some great insights from you guys in the chat. And I love what my friend Dandyman wrote here. And Dandyman, by the way, thank you so much, Dandyman, for the beautiful Lost Boy piece there. There's Luffy. I don't know if you guys can see that very well, but there's Luffy eating the devil fruit there from the very. I won't want to take it down because it's I might drop him or something. But thank you so much for that, and thank you as well, Allison. Thank you so much. And I do hear the drums. I hear the drums, and I can't wait to talk about that part of the story. We got some beautiful things to talk about here because One Piece is a lot of fun. But it is also, in many ways, a really, really deep story with a lot of things going on, a lot of themes, a lot of, just fantastic nods and allusions and all kinds of really fun stuff. So we're going to try to dip into some of those things in the beginning here. I am not an expert on Japanese culture by any means, but you guys, a bunch of you guys really were very helpful when I started Wano in saying, hey, you need to check out this story and that bit of mythology and that kind of thing. And I talked about that a fair bit in my first Wano video when I did Act 1 of Wano. So I'm not going to rehash all that, but I do want to acknowledge that I feel like Act 3 does bring a lot of those to fruition, a lot of those nods, a lot of those things. So just to throw out a few, the Susanoo allusions in there. Susanoo being the Shinto god of oceans and storms, a god who was really quite ill-behaved for a long time in his early years, but then makes good by doing some really important things. And of course, Oden. Some of Oden's character is built on that myth of Susanoo, right? And there's also a sword involved in that story, an 8-headed serpent dragon type thing, and of that, obviously, that's Orochi. So there's some nods going on there from the story of Susanoo. Also, the story of the 47 Ronin. It's big. It's a big part of this, and the whole concept of Bushido. Which is the Japanese equivalent of chivalry. You've got our samurai in the story. It's also known as the Akko incident, but essentially it's a story of vengeance. It's a story of honor. It's a story of these ronin or samurai without a lord who are acting out of loyalty. And of course, that is very much mirrored in the story of our samurai who are acting on behalf of Oden in here. So this is good stuff. You've got kabuki theater all over the place in here. Lots of kabuki theater references. A lot of it is with the Beast's pirates, which is really cool. So the Tobi Roppo, for example, I don't know how commonly known this is, but and I only know it because as I was rereading to shake up my memory, make sure I remembered everything here on the One Piece wiki. I was just reading the summary, and it does mention somehow I figured out that the Tobiropo means the flying six is one translation, which really is a kabuki term. In the kabuki theater, flying in six directions is one way of describing how an actor might walk on stage or exit the stage or something like that. So there's Oda throwing out all these little allusions, and apparently there's a lot of those things and of course there's the shamisen instrument, the stringed instrument that Hiyori plays at key points. One being the very end, where it feels very kabuki-like, the ending of Wano. So there's lots of stuff going on there. There's also the story of the bandit Ishikawa, who is, when he's caught, boiled in a cauldron with his son and holds up his son in order to save him from being boiled. And in some versions of the story, they see his sacrifice and they decide to be merciful and take the son away and spare his life. In other versions, the grimmer version of the story is that Ishikawa realizes that he can't do this forever and he wants to spare his son the pain that he's in. So he just dips him in the hot boiling water and kills him, bang, like that. Obviously, Oda is giving a nod to this story through Oden's fate, and Oden holding up his followers, his samurai, and sparing them. Also, Oda is such a fun guy. I caught the little foreshadowing in the beginning when Oden is getting in trouble for being a profligate. One of his practical jokes is he boils soup on a funeral pyre.
Yeah.
And it's actually called Oden soup, which is a kind of a funny way of foreshadowing what happens to Oden. Oda has so many of these little things in there, doesn't he, Jonathan?
He's pretty creative. I mean, for example, you were talking about the Tobiropo, and I don't know if you realize that not only the Tobiropo, but a lot of Kaido's crew are named after like card games and cards. Like there's a character named Poker, and there are other card games from all over. There's also like Jack, Queen, King, Doflamingo being Joker as well.
Yep.
This man loves having fun with his story, and it just adds so much more, I don't know, fluff and texture to everything that's going on.
Yeah, it just, he has his fun with all that, and I'm here for it, to me, this adds a lot of fun. There's a playfulness to how he does these illusions. You could say a joy to how he does this, right?
Yes.
We're going to be talking about joy. And one more big one that we have to mention is the story of Momotaro, who, of course, Momonosuke it's no accident that you have the word Momo in there, which means peach, the story of Peach Boy. And of course, Momonosuke becomes a pink or peach colored dragon. So there's that illusion. But the idea of the Oni, the ogres, taking over and oppressing the people, and Peach Boy's main mission is to free them, right? To give them freedom from these oppressors. So there's a lot in here. And Oda uses this old folktale that's very important in Japan to set up this theme of oppression and freedom. So I just love all these little nods and allusions. We're just skimming the surface really here.
On Momotaro, I did like watch your previous videos to try to like prepare for this one, your previous Wano videos. And one of the things that you were looking for, we didn't get a phoenix. We got the dog, the monkey, and we didn't get the phoenix. Now we have
Marco.
We have Marco.
Yeah. And in the story, it's actually a pheasant. I misspoke, which is weird because I don't know why I said Phoenix. I must have been thinking about Marco at the time, because he does appear at the very beginning of Wano in a kind of like a prologue there. So I don't know. I misspoke, but it proved to be weirdly prophetic. So we do get a Phoenix, which is pretty cool. Big shout out to Marco. I love Marco. He's cool. His whole role in here as a kind of a, he's got his grief. He's clearly carrying around his grief as a Whitebeard pirate, but he's still he's in the mix still, and
Yeah.
intervening. One of my favorite parts, of course, is in the thumbnail where he throws Zoro up to the roof, so Zoro can join the fight going on there.
Yes.
While he's fending off, I think, King and Queen at the same
At
time.
the same time, yeah.
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 But yeah, big
Pretty
player.
impressive. I one of my favorite things about him is like at some point he's just like, it's up to you guys. I'm done here, you know. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, no, he's great though. So, along with all these influences and nods, there are a ton of themes that we can talk about, and I see some. I didn't realize this was as important when I started Wano, but this idea of the drums, right? The drums of freedom, the idea of Luffy's heart beating, right, and he becoming this incarnation of Joy Boy or Nika, the sun god. We have to talk about how all this fits when we start talking about all this lore, because my head was spinning with all of this. But Luffy's heart beating, and that being kind of this drum, this noise, kathump, kathump, this drum beat of freedom in a country that has been oppressed, that has suffered from the depredations of people who have exploited that country. People like Orochi and Kaido, who are not good people, right? They're powerful, but they use their power to do horrible things. And we're going to talk about their style of leadership versus the style of leadership of somebody like Oden. There's a big difference. I think you can say that there are, and it's not just a matter of just purely good and bad. I mean, there's whole philosophies behind the way I think they lead, which we can get into. But freedom is obviously a huge theme, right? In One Piece in general.
Yeah.
And nowhere is it more important though than in Wano. And the idea of freedom being just so it's part of who Luffy is, part of what he does everywhere he goes. But it is also a really important part of what's happening here in Wano and what people need. So it's just so amazing to me that Oda again and again finds new ways to explore this theme of freedom. But in a place like Wano, where you have such a tremendous amount of legacy as well. And the idea that will being another big, huge theme in One Piece, will being this inherited thing where, for example, you've got Luffy inheriting some very important things from his brother here, who we get. It's lovely that we see him in some flashbacks, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, everyone loves Ace. How could you not love Ace? So to get to spend some extra time with him, and the connection to Wano, the connection to Yamato, the connection to Otama. It's really, really nice seeing how this one person has influenced so many people in this story and so many places as well. I think someone brought this up to you, but even I think it was Little Orange Jr., like Ace learned how to make that hat for Little Orange Jr. in Wano. And so like Oda is really good at like just connecting all these pieces that we didn't know were part of a whole,
Yeah. It's just amazing how far back you can go as well, because I think Nika, the sun god, was something mentioned as far back as Fishman Island, maybe even earlier. But yeah, and of course, freedom being a really important part of that story as well. So yeah,
Philip, I don't want to chase it. I don't want to go too far ahead right now, but someone has a really good comment.
Okay.
It's Cody Coder 2319.
Okay.
And
let me see if I can highlight it. And
it's about the laugh tail twists.
Oh, laugh tail. Well, you got to talk about that. Okay. Here it is.
We can talk about it later, but
well, now I know where your channel name comes from.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
I didn't realize. I mean, I thought it was a cute name, but I didn't realize where it was coming from there. So yeah.
I was concerned as well. But Cody, absolutely. He's here now, so no more spoilers.
We don't have to worry about that anymore. So yeah, no, it's a really cool concept, of course. There's just so much lore. We're going to talk about that when we talk about Oden's backstory, because that's where a lot of this lore gets dropped. But we can talk about lore all over the place. We'll get back to the sun god Nika, Joy Boy, Laugh Tale, all of this stuff. But going back to some of these will and legacy themes, I want to talk a little bit about a couple key characters here. One is Momonosuke, who is obviously laboring under the weight of the legacy that he has to carry of his father, of Oden. And this is something that he feels, he's a kid. How is he going to carry this? How is he going to be what he needs to be for his country, for Wano? How can he live up to his legendary father? And then another one, which is, and there's so many cases of this, but another one that I think is an interesting parallel is Yamato. Yamato also has a legacy of a father, in this case, Kaido. And Yamato is rebelling against this legacy. Yamato is saying, no, this is not who I am. This is who I am. I'm Oden, right?
Yes.
That's such a great thing. And 3 cheers for Yamato for asserting an identity of their own, right? I mean, this is another key theme that runs throughout One Piece, that you can see where Oda is very much for the empowering people to assert their own identity, explore their own identity, to be who they are, who they want to be. And the things that get in the way of that are wrong, right? So I love this as well. So you have these contrasting, points of a parent and a child with the weight of legacy, and 2 different responses to that. And then you have another one that you mentioned before we started talking, and I think it's really important too. Your favorite character also has some exploration of his legacy. So you want to talk about that for a second?
Yes, Sanji and his Germa background. Sanji completely rejects Germa, and it's very interesting because Sanji's been getting so much love from Whole Cake Island on up until now. We got his second backstory. We learned so much about where he comes from. It explains so much about why he is the way he is. And here he is, using the raid suit for the first time, to an extent, maybe like learning to accept a little bit about who he is, and rejecting that at the end of the day, realizing that, like, no, I'm gonna stand my ground, and this is not who I am, and I'm gonna be myself, and I'm gonna use the powers that have been granted to me to help my captain become the king of the pirates. So I mean, there's so much more to say about Sanji and Wano as well, especially during the battle and his moments with Robin. Another thing about Sanji that I've always really respected. I know it's very annoying, but his unwillingness to fight with women or hit women. I think when you're watching shonen, it comes as like a weakness, but I see this as his strength. I respect him totally for like having these values and sticking to it, even when it makes no sense and it costs other people their safety. And where Sanji has grown in this arc is not that he's going against his values, but he's learned to ask for help. He's learned to accept, this is a weakness that I have. And I'm going to, even if I can't take care of it, there are people. He's actually taking the same advice that he gave to Usopp back in Enies Lobby, where it was like, there are some things I can do, there are some things you can do, and we should do what we can. He asked Robin for help, and then on the other hand, Robin thanks him for trusting her to take care of him as well. It's such a beautiful moment for the two of them, and I'm so proud of my boy.
And you should be. Another example that, as Raph points out here, is Momo learning, needing to ask for help.
Absolutely.
And we can go all the way back to Nami, from the very first,
help me,
saga, being okay with asking for help from your friends. But I do love that moment when Sanji asks Robin for help, because he trusts her. right?
He
And this is
trusts
the
her.
beautiful
Yes.
thing about the people. This is it, right? This is about the Straw Hats are a family, and they trust each other. They know they've got each other's backs, and the amount of trust they put in each other, it's just understood now.
Yeah.
They know. So when
They've
he,
matured as a crew, and
yes,
you see it
so much,
you see it in its fullest during Wano. There's just this synergy among them now that they are a force to be reckoned with.
yeah.
And there's no breaking these bonds at this point.
Yeah, they're a true family, and they understand each other. Robin knew exactly what Sanji was doing,
Yep.
and she
Yep.
knew that he had faith in her.
Yep.
Um, and she does deliver. I mean, she comes in, she delivers with this demonic form, right?
Yes.
And
Again, accepting the name that she was called, Devil Child, and
yep,
deciding on her own, what her legacy will be. If I'm the Devil Child or the Demon Child, I will show you what a real devil or demon is. So many powerful moments in this arc.
so many. And I love this point from music is the essence of everything. Also, Sanji trusted Zoro would stop him in the case he would become the monster he feared he would become because of Judge and company. I love that point.
Yep.
I'm always here for the Sanji Zoro interactions.
Yes.
And how afterwards Zoro was like, "Wait, you wanted me to kill you, right?"
Yeah.
Sanji's like, "No, I'm okay now." Right?
Yeah.
It's such good stuff. And then Robin is, after Luffy, definitely my favorite character. And this idea here from Dimensional Fish, Robin being able to sit and be accepted by the crew, something she wants. She's wanted her whole life. Being trusted and relied upon enough to be asked for help. Their family. So well said. I just love it.
I was looking at this. I was on Twitter the other day, and I don't remember who said this, but someone was talking about Robin, and something they brought up was her age, which is something. It feels insignificant, but like these characters are aged differently for relevant reasons. And Robin is in her 30s among a bunch of like early 20-year-olds, teens. And someone said like Robin is like a role model to them because she showed that like, at 30 years old she could find herself more or less and find family and find comfort, and that it's not too late, and she's living her best life now, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, she had a pretty rough life in the beginning, unfortunately.
Exactly, and that crew gave her hope.
Yep, gave her a family.
Yeah,
and they show such faith in each other. It's a beautiful thing. So there's an example of a found family and a wonderful thing. And here we have aestheticism. Sanji, Chopper, and Robin have had very similar struggles of being cast out of their circles as children. So the scene in Water 7 when Robin said goodbye to specifically Sanji and Chopper is so good. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Good call there.
Never noticed that.
Yep. So beautiful. All right. So continuing with our discussion of some of these themes, in addition to family, inheritance, will, and legacy, let's talk a bit about leadership. Because I feel like this is something that Oda is exploring in here in Wano as a whole. You have some good leaders here. You have Oden. And I think the essential nature of a good leader, and you tell me what you think, Jonathan, but I would submit that the essential nature of a good leader is someone who understands that they are serving the people that they are leading, that they are servants of the people that they are leading, that there is an element of sacrifice to being a leader.
Yes.
And that is something you see over and over again with Oden. The idea that he would make a fool of himself by dancing in the buff every day and looking like a fool, and everybody making fun of him. But he's doing that for his people, right?
Yes.
He is prepared to give up his credibility, his honor, his everything in order to save his people. And he thinks he's made the deal, right, with Orochi and Kaido. Of course, they betray him.
Yes.
But he also, even in the scene we talked about already, where he's boiled to death, or actually he's shot by Kaido in the end, there's so much sacrifice involved, and he's holding up. He is the one who is holding up his followers.
Yes.
There's important symbolism in that, isn't there? Right?
Yeah.
So the idea that we have an exemplar of true leadership in Oden, I think, is a really important one. Anything you want to say about Oden?
So I want to push back because what do you think about his selfish choice to leave Wano to go explore the world
When he's young.
when he's young? Yes, because I think he did before this kind of like establish himself somewhat as a leader, but there was still a part of him that needed to leave and follow his own journey and do things for himself. And yes, when he came back, he was able to like assume that leadership role for his followers. But I feel like there were two parts of him that were um, pulling him apart more or less, because there is the leader of like doing whatever, there is the leadership value of doing what you want regardless of what people want to do or say. And of course there were some who followed him. I think Dog Storm and Cat Viper followed him,
Mm-hmm.
as well as Eno, and I think there was someone else. But at the same time, that was to an extent a selfish choice.
Hmm.
Dreams and
Yeah.
responsibility.
Clearly, he shows flaws, especially in his youth, as in the story of Susanoo, right? The
Yeah,
god, where he's actually quite destructive when he's young, and he does some stupid things. But the important thing is that he does learn and he grows, and that journey of going out in the world is how he grows. So
exactly.
I
Yeah.
think it's a good thing overall that he does follow that instinct, because he meets important people. He meets Roger, right? He meets Whitebeard. He meets some important mentors.
Yep.
He learns how to be a leader from these people.
He meets Frankie.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. He also learns some really important things about, it's from his travels that he gets the idea that it's important to open up Wano as well.
Yes. Yes.
So I would say that, yes, you're right. He has flaws. He's a bit of a dipstick when he's young. But also, I think he grows.
He
And that's the
does.
important thing, that nobody's going to be a perfect leader. We certainly have some really awful leaders in here as well. Kaido, his philosophy is simply and he even says it at one point. It's basically the powerful get to do what they want.
Yes.
His philosophy is kill before you're
Strength.
killed. It's strength.
Overwhelming strength. Yeah.
Overwhelming strength rules all. Which there's a kind of a hard-nosed view of that. Like, yeah, that's the world. That's being realistic. Like, all you
Yeah.
naive people out there who think that love can change the world, here's the reality. And you just look at human history and you can see over and over again, it's the most powerful. It's the winners who write history,
Yeah.
the powerful who dominate. So certainly, and Kaido, when you learn about his backstory toward the end of all this, you can see where he gets this from, right?
Yeah.
Where he's been exploited. The world government treats him horribly.
Yeah.
So he's got plenty of reason to believe in that philosophy. And then plenty of people will agree that that strength is what really matters. So I don't know. What do you think of that? I'll let you talk about that first.
I mean, in the One Piece world, it absolutely is something that matters. There is something that's very interesting about Kaido's crew, where it's like he is even. I mean, when you look at his crew, it's one of the biggest crews that we've seen so far. It's absolutely massive. I think there are like 4 different divisions of like the pleasures and the waiters and the headliners, and so he just has this massive crew of people where it's quantity over quality to a certain extent, and that just shows he just believes in overwhelming power no matter what, even so much so that a lot of these crew members have been sacrificed with the smile fruits, and a lot those of these who have like eaten smile fruits and not gotten powers and just gotten the side effects of the smile fruits. It's There's a reason why he is at the point he is today. Funny enough, though, there's something that's mentioned. It's a very short comment that happens, I think, either very early in Act 3 or like between Act 2 and Act 3. That little transition where Sengoku is talking about the emperors, but comparing Kaido to Shanks. Sengoku says that I think Shanks has like the strongest overall crew, even if it's a small crew. Across the board, they're pretty balanced in terms of their power. and stuff like that. So it's like, what does this say in comparing Shanks and Kaido? What does this say about them and their crews and how they view the people that they keep around them, and how do they support these people? I'd say Luffy is more closer to like a Shanks, in terms of like how tight knit the crew is, whereas Kaido crew looks more like a pyramid, you know. Just there's the top and then it goes down.
Yeah, well said. Thank you, Jonathan, so much for the 4.99. And Oden's downfall at the end was kind of his fault for trying to take all the burden doing things on his own. He had his faults, but he was a good person. I think that's a good assessment.
That is a good assessment.
We also have look at this generous person here. Dandaman, you are too kind. You are such a good person. 100 likes. Thanks to everyone who liked the stream, everyone viewing and supporting. Subscribe to JP Laughtails and Philip Chase if you're new, loving the stream. Thank you so much.
Man. Really appreciate it.
You are the best. Also, I don't know if it's okay to talk about this, but Dandaman is also, I happen to know, a really great artist, a really great One Piece artist as well. I'll shout you out some other time, Dandaman, if you want me to, but I just want to say that because I really love your art. Some great points here about Oden. I'm so curious what prophecy involved Oden staying in prison to die when he could have escaped with his swords too. Joy Boy coming 20 years later. Yes. Okay. Good point. And he gives his swords to Toki, his wife, to pass on to his children. So he must have known something, right? And then we have some more, too many comments, great comments for me to show them all, but I think it shows the contrast of creativity between Luffy and Kaido. Kaido just wanted strength, but could only imagine the simple form of strength. That's well said. That's a really good insight.
Yes.
It's a really good insight.
Brute strength.
Yep. Okay, good. I will. So on Instagram, Dandaman, put your Instagram handle in there because people can see your art on Instagram. I want everybody to check out Dandaman's art. He's got this wonderful One Piece stuff there. So I think your handle is Dandaman on Instagram, but please do put it in there in case. So
I want to talk a little bit more about Kaido also, on this whole strength thing and their crews, but like you realize there's also like a lot of infighting and like mistrust in Kaido's crew.
Okay, good.
Everyone's trying to like, you know, they're like crabs in a barrel. Everyone's trying to like get to the top. Whoever wants to take Jack's position, Queen is trying to take over from King. I think King is like the only loyal person like honestly loyal person.
Tragic figure, really.
On Kaido's crew. Did I say Queen or King? King. Yes. Even the Toby Roppo.
King the Lunarian, right?
Yes. Yeah. Even the Toby Roppo, they are, you know, I think one of the things I think Queen says is like, whoever catches Yamato has a chance of like taking over, you know, taking King's Jack's position. And so it's just very interesting. And Oda makes a big point of doing that, of showing, you know, how this crew is really not held together by much. If anything, it's held together by fear. It's held together by like the hype of being part of Kaido's crew, but not necessarily there are no like solid bonds between them.
I mean, contrasted with the Straw Hats, right? Yep. Do you see what you see among Kaido and company is a lot of betrayal, actually. Yep. I mean, Kaido chops off Orochi's head, right? The moment, I mean, that would never happen among the Straw Hats, okay?
At all.
So when your view of the world is that everything is about power and the most powerful rule, the strong get to do what they want, you're basically living in a constant state of fear and mistrust and betrayal, right? I mean, you're just waiting for that dagger in the back.
Yeah.
Whereas the Straw Hats, they protect each other's backs.
They do. They protect each other's backs. They trust each other to protect each other's backs as well. I mean, there's some really nice moments between Zoro and Chopper, with Chopper doing the trying to cure the plague from Queen's Playgrounds, and I think Zoro hands over the antidote to Chopper, and he's like, do you got it? And Chopper's like, yeah, I got it. And Zoro's like, I thought so. You know, I know. It's so nice to see all of these little moments of the crew really relying on each other to just get it done. You know.
Yep, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And there's so many moments like that. And then of course there's Orochi, who is the worst leader of all, in my opinion. I mean, you could actually say that you can make an argument for Kaido, okay, and his philosophy. You could say, all right, he's just realistic. That's the way the world works. But Orochi is just the worst. Okay.
Orochi's on my list of like top 5 worst One Piece villains. There are no redeeming qualities at all.
Right. I mean, he's just basically a completely self-centered, narcissistic, backstabbing, disgusting, piece of trash. You don't like Orochi.
He really is.
I don't like him. Does that show? Yeah.
I mean, if I remember correctly, your Wano Act 2 video.
I mean, I think I was pretty clear about my feelings about Orochi there. So yeah, I mean, I don't think that leaders like that even deserve to be called leaders. They're not leaders. Yes. They're not leaders, and that's acknowledged in Wano Act 3 as well.
Yeah.
He's there. He's just destructive, right?
He is
the polar opposite of Oden and Oden's sacrificial nature. He's all about me.
Yeah,
of course, he does have this. Exactly.
Yeah.
And he has this whole beef being one of the Kurozumi clan. Okay, so if he has a motive, it's there. He wants to destroy everything because his grandfather or whatever.
Yeah, but even his motive isn't. There is no. Even his motive is weak. He's taking over some. I mean, maybe is that him taking over someone's will and legacy? Is Orochi part of this this will and legacy conversation of like Orochi like weakly just stepping into to someone else's goals and dreams? Another Spandam.
Yeah.
Honestly, Spandam above Orochi.
I think so. Actually.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say that because I don't like Spandam either.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean he is trash. I thought this was great because I took that the California Penguins question is, what did you think about Kurozomi was born to burn? This is what Hiyori says at the end, and I think she's countering the idea that Orochi says earlier that the Kurozomi clan will always our curse will basically destroy Wano forever. We're always going to haunt you. Whereas that's her counter to it. That's Hiyori saying, and I think if I'm correct, there's a bit of a play on words in Japanese that is lost on people who don't know Japanese. But I think that's what she's doing there. She's basically flipping Orochi's curse on its head and saying, no, Kurozumi was born to burn. So I think that's what's going on there. Is that your understanding, Jonathan?
Yeah, I think Kurozomi. I just checked. The Kurozomi is charcoal.
Yeah. So cool. Again, great comments. I'm sorry, guys, I'm not getting to all your comments, but they're there. They're going to be there in the chat. So yeah, I mean, great point. Kaido has a lot of issues, but his ideology has a place in the world where personal strength matters. Without strength, how do you protect your era? Build on love when someone else can fight for their era. That's true. Yep. So strength does matter. It's kind of hard to deny that. Orochi. Love it. So yeah, okay. So there's confirmation here from Chris. Thank you, Chris. It's a pun that only makes sense in Japanese. Okay, cool. But yeah, so other themes in here we got to talk about. Well, we've been hitting on these, but ideas of like friendship and family, loyalty. You see, again, betrayal is what marks the what are Kaido's pirates called? The Beasts pirates,
Beast
right?
Pirates, yeah.
And of course Orochi and his followers, in contrast to real friendship and loyalty, which we see among the Straw Hats and their friends and allies.
Yep.
We also got the concepts of food, really important in One Piece in general.
Super important.
But starting with the idea of these millet dumplings that Tama. Now, big shout out to Tama for. Honestly, I think they would have been in big trouble without Tama and
They
her
would.
vanilla dumplings
They would.
out of her cheeks. So,
Oh
I
my
mean, very
gosh.
clever way to,
MVP.
yeah, yeah. But the idea of food being sustenance, right? And in Tama's case, this is food for the soul, right?
It
I
is. Yes.
mean, some of these people, like Speed, for example, I think their loyalty will go beyond just the fact that they've been manipulated by this power. Like they have had their eyes opened by this.
Yep.
They've been fed, in a sense, both physically but also almost spiritually by this little girl, this innocent, wonderful girl who
Yes.
has fed them and helped them. But man, does she help out a lot. She's a part of this food theme in here, right?
I mean, what on Speed specifically, and sorry to go back on this, but Will is a very huge theme in One Piece overall.
Oh yeah.
And I wonder if they're how easy it is to flip them. I know it is connected to like their animal powers, but it could also be connected to their lack of will as followers of Kaido. Coming back to like what we spoke about of just that crew not really being as tight knit as others.
Mm-hmm.
And Tama having her own dreams and her own goals and being able to more or less overpower the wills of Kaido's followers with her fruit.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting thing. But yeah, food is one of the biggest themes. I mean, all the different districts in Wano are named after food. So Oda wasn't trying to be implicit at all. He's pretty explicit
Very
about
much
that
so.
theme.
Very much so. And of course, there's Luffy's declaration. I just want my friends to have enough to eat. Right.
Yes.
I want my friends to be able to eat. And that's so. I mean, that's the heart of who he is. He is such a joyful character, and he enjoys good food. And he's he's all about. Great comment here. Give food to Luffy for free, and he will liberate your country. That's his only operating rule, right? So you see how food is sustenance for the body and the soul as well, a way of bonding. Really important to emphasize, because that's what happens in the simple story of Momotaro, the Peach Boy. He has these millet dumplings that he gives to the dog and the pheasant and the monkey, and they become his loyal friends. And there's such a truth to that, right? There is something about the communion of coming together around food that you create an almost sacred bond, don't you?
Yes.
I mean, think of all the we got the Last Supper. You've got all kinds of portrayals of people coming together around food.
Yes.
So having this be such a central element of Wano, because what are Kaido and Orochi doing to this country? They are starving them.
Yes, and keeping all the food to themselves.
Yes, exactly. And the idea of not sharing versus sharing, right? So it's just huge, isn't it? It's all over the place here. Beautiful moments. Great point about that. Early on in Wano, Tama gave rice to Luffy, and Okiku gave dango to Luffy. Luffy was given food ×2 by people who had little. Beautiful moments. Even Big Mom.
Yes, I wanted to bring that up.
Right? Go for it.
Big Mom understands the value of food.
Yep.
And even if she was all in at that point in time, that's how they gain that temporary. Well, I don't even know if it's temporary, because she kind of like stood up for Tama in Act 3. Even as Big Mom, it could be her motherly instincts. It could be the fact that she fed her. But even Big Mom recognizes the importance of food and how that bonded her to Tama.
Yep. And as California Penguin says here, I love the Oshiruku scene at the banquet where Luffy gets mad because they're wasting the food.
Yes.
Right? They're wasting the food, the arrogance of that. There are people out there starving, and here you are laughing about spilling food on the floor. And of course, Big Mom is a fan of Oshiruko as well. Here's another really good one, food related. Thank you, Talkerific. the cage samurai feeding Yamato when she's a little girl, being thrown in that cave along with those samurai. And of
Yes.
course, her father's whole philosophy is the strong rule. So he assumed that they were going to attack each other over that food, but they show a different path.
Yes.
They give the food to Yamato, and they help to free her. They band together. That's a beautiful moment. I really love
Yeah.
that
Yep.
scene, that whole thing where.
Yeah.
Again, it's about their response to this whole situation is very different from what Kaido assumed they would do.
Yeah.
Kaido was assuming because of his whole philosophy.
He doesn't understand. He doesn't understand human beings, and he doesn't understand how things work. And if I remember correctly, Yamato was a child then as
Yes,
well.
correct. Yep.
So it shows his own blindness, not realizing, like, yes, maybe Yamato is the child of their enemy, but she is a child, and their enmity towards Kaido is not going to be automatically passed on to Yamato just because she's connected to him by blood.
Yeah. Okay, beautifully said. I want to just make sure there's a lot of great comments in here about music as well, and the drums of freedom, the drums of liberation, and how Luffy from the beginning kept wanting a musician on the crew. Thank you for making this point, Cooper Wilson. Music is an underrated tie to freedom, in my opinion. Yeah, totally good call there. It's a great call. And
completely agree.
Brook, of course, is the musician of the ship, and he's found his family too in that process. But beautiful stuff. I'm looking for a few more comments. I do want to highlight this lovely person here. Thank you so much.
It's my classmate Prasoon. Shout out Prasoon.
Shout out Prasoon. Thoughts on Soga King finding the One Piece before Luffy? It would be the greatest plot twist in anime history. Also, will Luffy's new bounty be a trillion belly given recent worldly news? LOL. Oh my goodness. All right.
So what if the One Piece is on Sniper Island?
Oh, there we go. If it's on Sniper Island, then Soga King was sitting on it the whole time.
The whole time.
Plot twist. That's great. And thank you so much for your generosity.
Thank you, Prasoon.
Another food point here. Oden sharing food, sometimes begrudgingly, with his retainer at first. He told Kiku and Izo not to eat food, but learn to share. Again, that's him growing.
Yes.
As a leader.
I think that's also like how he got Dogstorm and Cat Viper on his crew as well. I do remember. This is really fresh in my head because I was telling Philip, I've been trying to like run through Wano again in the manga to be caught up because it's been so long. But Cat Viper and Dogstorm, when they're just a pup and a kitten, are fed by Oden, and that's how they end up joining. After he saves them, he feeds them. Cat Viper says the food is too hot and he spits it out, and then apologizes because he realizes it's rude. Really, really nice, really nice moment with them as well.
Yeah, beautiful. And for the last theme, I want to talk to everyone. Let's discuss joy here, which is very much related to food and friendship and
freedom.
We are going to talk when we do Oden's backstory about the sun god Nika and Joy Boy and all that. But just joy as a theme is such a wonderful part. That's why I think maybe the number one reason why I love One Piece is this constant coming back to joy. There's so many great parties that happen in One Piece, right?
Yes.
The fellowship. It's just something palpable that I think we all love about this series, right? Gear 5 is joy, right?
It is joy.
There is real power in joy, isn't there? Because life throws a lot of stuff at us, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And on that point, Philip, I don't know how good your anime knowledge is with shonen anime, but it's very common in shonen anime for characters to evolve out of pain. So you had like Goku when he goes to Super Saiyan, it happens after his friend dies. There's Gon from Hunter x Hunter, again after like dealing with grief and stuff like that. and they end up evolving into like one of their strongest forms because of pain and suffering. And Oda decided to flip that idea on his head and said, I'm not going to do that. I know that's what people expect. I know that's what some people might want, and some people, I think he said he thinks a lot of people won't like it, but this is not what One Piece is about. This is not who Luffy is,
Yeah.
you know. And he decided instead to have Luffy evolve into his most joyous and free form. He's laughing all the time, you know. And it's that was like one of the most magical moments for me. It was like a very much, I always got One Piece, you know, I always got it, but I remember when that moment happened, reading it and being like, yes, this is what we have been building up to. This is the
Yep.
moment, you
Yeah.
know.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. Oda is writing a story of joy. Got to agree with
yep,
that.
yep.
Some really lovely comments here. So yeah, that was the last theme that I had written down to talk about. But I do, I'm sure we'll go back to some of these, and we're going to talk about Joy Boy specifically in a bit. But I do want to talk about, because I got so much wonderful feedback from all of you. You got to watch episode 1015. You got to watch. I heard it so many times. I said, all right, I guess I better, because you guys are never wrong. You have steered me correctly every single time. And so I did watch episode 1015, and I loved it. I loved it. I've actually loved every single anime episode I've ever watched. And I'm going to experience this story again. I probably will want to eventually buy the physical manga, because reading digitally is kind of a pain in the butt. But it's been fine. But I want to have the physical so I can just read it that way. But I also think I want to watch the anime at some point, because there's so much added to it from the music and everything
Mm-hmm.
else. But I've really felt that episode 1015 added a lot to my understanding of Yamato specifically,
I completely
and
agree.
Yamato's interactions with Ace in particular. So I guess I understand why people wanted me to watch that one. But there's also a lot about the belief in Luffy as the king of the pirates, as somebody's,
Yes.
and that's really just a one way of saying, as somebody who is pursuing his dreams to the utter end, right? Being king of the pirates, whatever your dream is, in Luffy's case, it's king of the pirates, right? Whatever it might have been, it's just pursuing your dreams. And so those two elements for me were the standout things about episode 1015. How about you, Jonathan? What are your thoughts on it?
So again, this is very fresh in my head. I watched it like 30 minutes before the stream. What's really funny about 1015, Philip, is I had a very complicated relationship with Wano. I When I first read it, I think Wano took like it's a very long arc. I think it took like 4 years to finish. And when you're reading weekly, it's a different experience from reading it straight through. And one of the things and one of the people who I never really connected with was Yamato. I felt that I still feel this to an extent. I felt that Yamato was introduced way too late in the story. And I was just, Oda did all the right things to make Yamato cool and likable and interesting. But like, as someone who has been playing the long game with One Piece for so long, I'm like, Oda, you can't force me to like this character just because they're cool. You know what I mean?
But he can.
But I did watch 1015, and as you said, like, it enhances that part of the manga so well, and enhances Yamato's character so well in their conversation with Ace, and them having that bond, and them having this euphoric moment of experiencing this connection between the past and the future through that conversation, and also through being in having Oden's logbook.
Right, the logbook. Oh, I just love that
Um,
way of telling the story, and how she identifies so strongly with him, and the freedom that he
yes,
represented for her, as she's literally
exactly.
in chains. Because
Yes.
the father, Kaido, has put Yamato in chains and said, "You can't
Yep.
leave the island." Right?
Yep. Yep. No, exactly. And I it I got goosebumps watching that arc. The music, something interesting about the music as well, is it contains one of my favorite original soundtrack songs from One Piece. That usually happens in all of these emotional moments, and it's called "The World's Greatest Oden Store."
Mm.
Uh, so it's actually been a really old song. So I don't know how long Oda planned to have an Oden character, but that soundtrack has been there since pre time skip, I'm sure. But the direction was fantastic. How it started with the flashback and then goes into the present day story. The emotional moment of well, first of all, everyone getting to the rooftop and them all like there's this level of confidence that they all have, where here they are standing before these gigantic guardians of the older generation, the two of the most powerful pirates of all time. And they're these kids, because they're still kids to a certain extent compared to these Kaido and Big Mom, and they're still like unserious. And Luffy pops in the walk, completely disregarding these two monsters and going straight to Kinemon. And Kinemon breaking down, feeling like a failure, and Luffy just going like, I got you, bro,
Yeah.
and delivering that punch.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was glorious. It
I
was
also have to
glorious.
mention
Goosebumps.
how much I love how Kinemon is always sort of clueless. Like how he's complimented on how brilliant his strategy was when
Yes.
when all they're like ready to raid Onigashima and there's no one there, right? It's a tragedy.
All part of the plan.
All part of the plan. And then Kinemon is like, yeah, absolutely. I knew that, right? And then again at the end, Kinemon is like the only one who doesn't realize, right? He's always the one who doesn't know. And then he's going
Someone
like,
said Kinemon is samurai buggy.
Yeah. Yeah. This is true. Samurai buggy.
all part of the plan, Kinemon.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, his face has become a meme. It's so funny.
Kinemon's face. Oh,
yes, the
funny.
face after it's revealed that they went to the different port, and he's like, it's become a meme. It's very funny. Kinemon Luffy to be his plea. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great point, Kyle.
Absolutely.
I found the interaction between Kinemon and Luffy to be absolutely beautiful. His plea asking Luffy if he can carry the weight of this country on his back. Luffy, without hesitation, saying yes, amazing. And that's the scene where Luffy has gotten to the roof and he just walks right by.
Yep.
Right by Kaido and Big Mom
Yes.
to have this moment with Kinemon. And that's a pretty emotional scene there. And he's yeah, you're my friend, of course.
My eyes were welling up. It's also that I read that chapter right after watching it in the anime, and I'm a manga purist, but like 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10. It really enhanced Wano for me.
Yeah,
that episode. Yeah,
great episode. So thank you guys for the advice to watch that episode. Absolutely. Now let's get to this backstory and all this lore. Oden's backstory is chock full of lore. You've got Gold D. Roger showing up and Whitebeard. You've got some important information about the sun god Nika and Joy Boy and all kinds of stuff. And then later you get these other dimensions that are added to fill in some of the. I feel like there's just so much I still don't understand and know. But the D thing as well. A lot of this stuff has to do, of course, with Goldie Rogers' voyage to the island that they name Laugh Tales.
Yes,
because something that Joy Boy has left there, something to do with the One Piece, makes them laugh, right?
Yeah. Yep.
It kind of makes you wonder what this treasure is here, and at Laugh to the last island. But it's all wrapped up in there. We know that,
Yeah.
but we still don't know exactly, do we? There's something also about these ancient weapons,
Yeah.
which you got all kinds of clues.
Shirahoshi,
Yep,
what's her name, Madame Charlie, making the prediction that
yep,
Shirahoshi would be coming.
yep.
Um, yeah, it's chunk full of a lot.
More dense
There's
stuff.
also Toki learning that she came from 800 years ago, which
So
I
she's
think
from
falls the
the
Void
Void
Century.
Century.
Yes,
She's from the Void Century.
yes.
I feel like we could have gotten so much more information out of her.
He loves doing this. He loves breadcrumbing us. That is
Like, come
definitely
on, why didn't Toki tell us what the deal is with the Void Century, right? She's from then, right?
yeah. Oda is very mean. Oda is very mean for that.
Yeah.
He's like, we know someone who knows something, but we're not gonna. We'll get back to this in like, I don't know, 500 chapters. I don't know.
But I do love how now. Let me tell you my understanding of the whole connection here. So my understanding, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but what I'm getting from all this is that the sun god Nika has so the devil fruit that Luffy eats as a kid is somehow connected to the sun god Nika, and that whoever eats that fruit, like Joy Boy did, but during the Void Century or however long ago it was, so Joy Boy was a kind of like an incarnation of the sun god Nika, as is Luffy. They all partake of the same essence in a sense. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking right now after reading this. That's my idea. I could be completely wrong.
I think to an extent, yes. I will say I am very scared to say much about this.
Oh, okay. Future stuff. Yeah.
But
your poker face on.
Yeah, you are on the right track.
Okay.
To when it comes to like coming back to like Will and stuff like that. But something that a lot of people do get wrong is not realizing like Joy Boy and Gear 5 and Nika are different things or entities.
Yeah.
And so I think you are on the right track of the
Maybe
order of things.
incarnations or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Partaking of the essence, because it's still Luffy, right?
It is still Luffy.
It's still Luffy. Here's a question for us, Jonathan. What do you think about Gear 5 and Luffy not just being a silly rubber boy, but the chosen one? Yeah, great point. I mean, this is kind of a chosen one figure here. Fate has always been on Luffy's side, but as a literary move by Oda, it's a bit ballsy. Is it good? I like it.
Yep.
So if you're going to do the chosen one trope, these days, you should try to do something different with it. And I feel like Oda has done that by giving us a chosen one who's based on goofiness, who's based on joy and just silliness. And I mean, when his powers come out and he's fighting Kaido as Joy Boy, it's so silly. Like, he gets hit in the head and the mace comes out in his face, goes like this.
It's also that I don't think Luffy's the chosen one. I think he's the one who chose. I think every move Luffy has made has been of his own free will. I think his strength again is also like his own free will in terms of like he trained to get as far as he did. He had a goal and he's been working towards it ever from day one.
Yeah.
And so to reduce him to like, yes, of course he's the main character, so he is the chosen one to an extent.
Yeah.
But I don't think it takes anything away from him. I think it's just part of the journey. If it's like, and this is probably a bad example because this is also like, I guess, a fallacy or propaganda to a certain extent. But when you look at something, for example, like the American dream about like you work hard and you do this and that and you're gonna get this, that's basically what Luffy has done. He has taken the right steps to get to where he is, and I think everything that he has done, I think the chosen one trope is bad if it's not earned. But I think Luffy has earned every single thing that he has accomplished up until this point in the story. And even with Gear 5 and like him, it being like his freest form, Luffy has always been free. He has been very creative from day one. I mean, I always call back to like when he's fighting Arlong and he takes Arlong's teeth out and puts it in his mouth
Yep.
and decides to use that as a weapon. You know, if anything, this just helps him be more creative and try more things that he wasn't able to do before, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, you get some great comments in there agreeing with you about Luffy's will being a big part of this, because it is absolutely imperative that Luffy agrees to this, that he embodies this. He's not just being acted upon, that he has to be an active part of this, right? He has to affirm what this is all about. So it's not just that he's taken over somehow by the sun god Nika. He has to be a willing participant in this. I think that's a great point.
Exactly, Chris.
Yeah. I mean, he is kind of that's a part of his charm, isn't it? His and part of his joy is that it's almost like this sort of like he doesn't care almost, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he does care, but he also, it's like when he says to people, I don't care about the story. I'm going to just help you because you're my friend, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah. Some great comments here again on Chosen One stuff. Yeah, I never really had issue with the Chosen One reveals people tend to dislike, since these stories often tend to favor the protagonist in whatever variety of ways. Yeah. So great stuff in here. Yeah, I'm really curious to see how this develops, though. You know, we've got there's an active attempt on the part of the world government, though, to disguise what the fruit was. Like, it's not actually the gum fruit. It's some other fruit. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
But that's this god fruit that comes from Nika, apparently. And also, the fruit seems to have a will of its own. It doesn't want to be used by the wrong people. So it had to find the right person in someone like Luffy, right?
Exactly.
So it's an interesting combination then of fate and free will.
It's also that, like, even when you look at Luffy's previous gears as well, all of Luffy's gears have been like his own creativity and trying to figure out, how do I use my fruit in a way, in my own unique way, to get to the level of strength that I want. So with Gear 2, it was, I think, like pumping his blood, using the rubber to pump his blood to like give him some kind of enhancement. Gear 3 was him literally blowing air into his bones. You know, Gear 4, he had learned Haki, and then he armed himself with Haki, making him like a tougher form of rubber. And I think, again, like I just think it's the natural progression. It, as I said, like when it happened, I was just like, oh yes, this all makes sense. You know,
love this point here from Salel. Kaido even asked Luffy, "Who are you?" Luffy responds, "Monkey D. Luffy," reaffirming his will. Great point there. Love it. Good stuff. Also about Haki, from Kaido's perspective, Haki is more important than devil fruits. It's more, he points out that Roger didn't have a devil fruit, right?
Yeah.
That he did everything he did just with Haki, right? So I thought that was an interesting point. And there's a ton of like development in terms of Luffy's understanding of Haki.
But you know what's interesting about that too, though, is Haki is ambition and will. So is he talking about Haki, the power, or is he talking about Haki as in like the ambition or willpower to achieve your goals?
Yep, great point. So we have some questions here. What do you think about Shanks and Buggy staying behind and not going to Laugh Tale? Also, Shanks crying after talking to Roger. When
I have my theories about Shanks. I thought Shanks was very suspicious at some point.
Yeah, Shanks. I'm still. I mean, he does make an appearance here. He prevents the admiral. I forget his name, Ryokugu or something like that.
Yeah.
The plant guy.
Plant guy. Yeah.
He prevents him, or he actually, after Momonosuke finally does succeed in blasting him.
Yeah.
I think it's Shanks, though, who convinces this admiral that, hey, you better not be picking on these people right now.
Yeah.
So he uses some Haki there. And he also realizes that he's seen Luffy's new wanted poster as Joy Boy.
Yes.
So the cat's out of the bag, so to speak, but not quite ready for the meeting yet. But
Yeah.
the idea that Luffy and Shanks, and also Buggy and Blackbeard
Yeah.
are the new emperors.
What do you think about? I don't know if you caught that, but what do you think about that little comment about Blackbeard not sleeping? Did you catch that?
I didn't catch it, to be honest with you. I mean, I feel like Blackbeard is a much more important character than I've yet to see. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
he was in Marineford. He was a bit of a villain in there, and he stole Whitebeard's powers. I can see where
Yeah.
people don't
He's
like
been
him.
scheming.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously he's super powerful. He's got 2 devil fruit powers at this point. I
Yeah.
know that. So yeah, I'm assuming he's going to be a big player in the next in Egghead. But what do you think about? Here's another question here for us from Shaolin Idiots. What do you think about the only way to become Joy Boy is to die? Okay, yeah, okay, it's interesting. When we first met Kaido, he was suicidal by jumping from a sky many chapters ago. He had such a lugubrious character. Maybe this way. Okay, so my theory there is that, yeah, not maybe quite die, but you have to be pushed to a very extreme point before that power can awaken.
Yeah.
In the case of Luffy incarnating Joy Boy or Nika or whatever it might be. So that's my take. I know, Jonathan, you got anything to say on that?
So with the Kaido thing, it was very interesting because that was something. Kaido being suicidal was something that I missed. I didn't catch on the first time I read. Again, it was weekly. It's binging through and seeing everything connected at the same time is different from seeing Kaido jump 6 years ago and then coming back to Wano. But Kaido's death obsession was very interesting because even in the fight with Luffy, you realize that he himself has been like looking for Joy. He's been looking for Joy Boy, and there is like a disappointment when he finally defeats Luffy. And decides at that point, oh, it can't be you. And it comes back to this power thing of Kaido respecting power and valuing power. That like here he is, the strongest creature in the world, and he's not Joy Boy. I think at a certain point he thought he was Joy Boy, or King thought he was Joy Boy.
Right, King did, yeah.
And here Kaido is the strongest creature in the world, but he's still not Joy Boy, so it has to be someone else. And kind of getting a hope that like, oh, Luffy inspiring Kaido to an extent, being like, oh, is it him? Like, I thought it might have been Roger. I thought it might have been others before him, but it might be this kid. And then getting disappointed. I thought that was very interesting. A very interesting Kaido moment.
Yeah, great point here by, again, Shaolin Idiots. The Nika fruit is all about freedom and joy and freedom, right?
Yep.
The world government is all about control, so it would only make sense for the fruit to evade the hands of the government for so many years. Yeah. Great point. So yeah, there's some wonderful points in here. I'm sorry again, everybody. I'm not going to get to all of them. I'm so grateful to all of you, though. They say the first time a Zoan fruit awakens is the most intense, and you can definitely see that Luffy's having one hell of a time with it against Kaido, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. And of course, yes, Shanks had gotten a hold of that fruit, and of course, Luffy eats it. He wasn't supposed to.
Yeah.
But you have the feeling that it's a very fateful moment when he does.
Zinc Frog, I'm on the same page with you on this Shanks thing. Shanks is very suspicious, man. He knows some stuff. He definitely knows some stuff. His timing of like deciding, like as soon as he sees Luffy has achieved this power and this success, he's like, I've had the ability to go after the One Piece, or for some reason he hasn't had the ability to go for the One Piece up until now, and all of a sudden now it's the time to make his move. What's going on, Shanks?
Yep,
something's going on there.
Something for sure. Yeah. There's so much in here. I mean, I feel like you have to read One Piece or watch it probably like 3 or 4 times before you really get all these things.
You do.
But even now, though.
Yes, Shanks and his Wi-Fi hacky from all the way wherever he was. I mean, that moment was interesting because when you look at the scale of Wano, I mean, Wano itself has several seasons depending on where you are. So that just shows you how big of a place it is.
Yeah.
And so for Shanks to be somewhere near the shoreline or in the sea to travel his conqueror's hockey that far to submit that Admiral Ryoku. I can never remember his name.
Yeah,
he's pretty powerful.
Yeah, he seems pretty badass.
Yeah.
Another little thing I wanted to shout out was, and it's actually behind you on your screen there, the flower petals at the end
Sakura.
of this.
Yes.
Again, I mean, this goes all the way back, we've seen the importance of symbolism of the cherry blossoms and whatnot in One Piece. And at the end of this, and of course, this is so many ways it's an analog of Japan, where you have all these wonderful cherry blossoms. So Oda really leans into the symbolism there with the renewal, the rebirth of this country, and the joy being released with these cherry blossoms that are blanketing. So I just had to mention that because that's another One Piece thing.
There's so much symbolism in Wano. It is definitely one of like Oda's greatest arcs. I love that Wano as a whole is an arc of identity.
Oh yeah, all about masks.
Yes, the masks.
Yes. So much, and the fact that Yamato wears a mask initially.
Yes.
And there's a lot in there. Somebody corrected me earlier, and thank you for that. A lot about Yamato's identity once again, right? And even Kaido says he's my son, right?
Yes.
And the idea of what were we going to say, Jonathan?
There's this video going around about like Kaido can be many things, but he's not transphobic, you know.
Oh yeah. I wondered where Kaido was coming from on that. Is it that he's not transphobic, or is it that he's the kind of guy who wants to have a son to carry his legacy, that kind of very traditional kind of father figure?
I don't know. I don't even think it's that, because to be fair, like Yamato chose his greatest enemy, you know. So if there was one time for him to reject Yamato's identity, it would be there. But yeah, I actually do think it shows it adds like a little bit of color to who Kaido is, and a little bit of extra depth of like, he is pretty horrible, you know. But he's not that horrible.
Yep.
There are lines he won't cross.
So yeah, I'm a little behind in the comments here. I'm way behind, actually. Yeah.
There are so many good comments, and to be fair,
okay, yeah. So it's a good one here in regard to what we were talking about. I think Kaido takes what Yamato says seriously about Yamato wanting to be Oden, because when they were clashing on the rooftop, Kaido said he wasn't going to hold back because she or he is Oden, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, great point.
Yep.
So he does seem to take it seriously, to the point where he says, "All right, if you're Oden, I'm going to kill you," right?
Yeah.
And we've seen that kind of rough behavior from him before, when he throws Yamato in the cave with the assumption that the samurai are going to be lethal in there.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So, yeah.
On the masks and identity of the samurai, there was one thing I noticed that I never noticed before. While I was rereading this week, the samurai who are under Orochi's control are using guns. A lot of them are using guns, not swords. And I was like, is this like just a betrayal of, you know, their identities, because, you know, they're practically turncoats and they've chosen a different side? Is this like a symbol of them like saying we're done with the old traditional way and we're going with, you know, the winner's way, you know?
Yeah, great questions. I love this comment from Sun Dave. Thoughts on Momonosuke sacrificing his youth for Wano? In my opinion, the most dire consequence after the couple of deaths. So yes, some of the couple that we lose Izo, we lose Ashura,
Doji, yes.
The samurai. But also, you're absolutely right, Sun Dave. The fact is, he does sacrifice as well. He has learned, like his father, what it means to be a true leader. And what I
Yes.
said in the beginning about a real leader knows that they're a servant of the people that they are leading, that they have to make sacrifices for them.
Yes.
So excellent point about him, Momonosuke.
And maybe he has like gotten done a little better than his father, because now he has to rely on Kinemon and the rest of them to help him rule. There, it's a lot less of like him holding all of them on his shoulders, and it's more of a team effort now. um yes, out of because he actually does need their help, but also I think it shows more, it's a better future, I guess, for Wano compared to Oden's, solitary style of leadership.
Yep. Yeah, he is indeed. He's learned a lot of wisdom already. So yeah, Jason, we did talk about that one point earlier. If I can get my cursor to highlight your comment, which is not working for some reason, but I'll get to it. We did talk about Oden dancing in the buff earlier as a sacrifice for, here we go, for his
Yeah.
people. Yeah, I mean that is a key thing, and
Yeah.
there's a goofiness to that all along as well, but it's also very moving that
Yeah.
he would be willing to do something like that.
I actually do think Oden might have had like a little bit of empathy for Orochi as well, because I think,
Mhm.
yes, Orochi did have the barrier fruit guy protecting him, but like there was a level of, why wouldn't Oden just execute Orochi whenever he got the chance? I'm sure he would have gotten a chance at some point, and he
Yeah.
decided to go the more peaceful route, which was a bit gullible of him. But I do sense there was still like a little level of empathy that he had for Orochi, no matter how evil Orochi was.
Yeah, that's an important thing. I mean, to preserve your own humanity, you can't become the person that who oppresses you.
Yeah.
I love this comment from Ruin 2306. I see Momo and Yamato as representing Oden coming back in two forms. Momo represents the leader Wano needs, and Yamato the spirit he brought, which they miss. Oden couldn't be both, but they can. Yeah, that's beautiful. And how Yamato always refers to himself as Oden as well.
Yeah.
That fits beautifully. So yes, we did actually talk about episode 10-15. Sorry, PK Buggy.
Shout out to. Have you ever watched PK Buggy's videos?
I have not. Yeah.
PK has. Shout out to PK. I've done a collaboration with PK as well. One of my favorite YouTubers talking about One Piece. Also a fellow Buggy fan, as you can tell. But whenever you do catch up, I highly recommend visiting PK's channel. And for those of you who are caught up, definitely go see PK's channel. There does a lot of like in-depth analyses on the story, and the themes that we talk about all the time.
Interesting here. The dancing bit was directly out of 47 Ronin. One guy did that for years as a ploy. Yeah, great call. Another thing that comes from 47 Ronin is the betrayal. There is a traitor among the 47 Ronin, the samurai, who gives away the game. And of course, we have a betrayer, unfortunately, among the samurai, don't we? There are a lot of betrayals that happen here. I mentioned earlier how Kaido decapitates Orochi. But this one's Kanjuro's betrayal kind of hurt.
Did you see it coming, Philip?
No, I can't say I did. I liked Kanjuro. I thought that was a goofy character. And Kanjuro also seems as bitter and angry about it. There is because Kanjuro is a Kurozumi. It's revealed. So they have a thing against the Kozukis, but at the same time, I feel like Kanjuro did find some camaraderie among those fellow samurai. So there's almost a tragicness to this betrayal as well.
Yes. I mean, it's very interesting. So I also didn't see it coming at all. But Kanjuro is a very interesting character to like play this game, or play this role for all of these years. I actually don't remember. I didn't get to finish my reread, as I said, and so I don't remember if there was a point where he spoke about camaraderie. Did he like have a moment where he broke character?
I mean, he says in the moment of betrayal look, guys, it's nothing personal. It's just I'm a Kurozumi, and this is what I got to do. Kind of,
Okay.
you know. I'd have to reread that section, but I feel
Okay.
like there is some element of, there was a genuine part of him, at least as he was betraying them the whole time, that he felt a kinship with these people still. But yeah, and then of course there's another parallel. Oda does this all the time. There's the parallel of Denjiro, who also betrays, but he pretends to be working for Orochi.
Your questions were answered.
Yep.
You were concerned about Kiyoshiro.
Yes. Yep.
And what was Hiyori's Kurasaki?
Kura something.
Komurasaki.
Komurasaki, that's it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's her. And of course, as it turned out, and I feel like a lot of people point out to me that it was fairly obvious that Komurasaki was actually Hiyori.
Yeah.
But it's not actually revealed until Act 3 explicitly. Yes. And keep in mind, I was reading the black and white digital version of this, where I could not see her hair color. I had no idea what color her hair was.
This was one of the moments where I was like, I am very shocked that you didn't get spoiled, because I wasn't sure when it was revealed, and I also don't remember when I figured it out, whether I figured it out right away or if I found out when Oda was explicit about saying that she was Komurasaki. But again, like when you're reading week to week, as you said, it's black and white. Have you seen what her hair color actually looks like?
I have now. Yeah.
Okay. So that might have been like a bigger tell if like you saw the.
I think that gave it away.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
Someone mentioned on the topic of Kanjuro, and I was gonna say this is Kanjuro had been, prior to the reveal, had been drawing with his left hand the entire time.
Yes.
Switched to the right.
Yeah. And doing a bad job. Like everybody thought he sucked. He's an artist. Yeah.
Yes. That poor little dragon that helped them up Zool. Like he could have been had him suffering for no reason. Well, for a reason, to delay them, but like
yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. There's some great laughs in here. There's some just epic moments. We're not even talking about even a portion of the battle that goes on.
Yeah, we haven't even gone to the battle.
But I do love some of the big moments. Just off the top of my head, I love how Momonosuke is encouraged by Yamato in that moment where he has to hold up Onigashima so it doesn't crash onto the flower capital, and he has to come up with those fire clouds or whatever
flame
they
clouds
are,
or something like that.
Right. And he doesn't have the belief in himself, but he finds the belief because others believe in him.
Yeah.
Right? And we talked about that before with the Straw Hats and how they believe in each other and how they get strength from that.
On Momo again, when Luffy has him bite Kaido and he's like, you've bitten an Emperor of the Sea. Like, what else is there to be afraid of? You know?
Yeah.
Such a great moment.
Yeah.
This
is actually do.
Sorry.
Go ahead. You go ahead, Jonathan.
Oh, I was saying it's something that I really, really do enjoy about this arc is how Luffy has like slipped into this big brother mode for Momo and Tama. There's something so special about it. It kind of, it's interesting because I feel like Wano is an arc where like it feels like the torch is being passed to Luffy at this stage of his journey to become like a true emperor of the sea. At the same time, he's passing the torch to these younger people as they set out on their own journey of becoming leaders in their own rights. There is something very special about that in that arc. And Luffy has inspired other people, but there's something about like how active he was in I don't know, deliberately just being a role model for these two kids in Wano.
Beautifully said, Jonathan. And since you mentioned the children, Chris is asking a great question. For this arc, do you have a single favorite moment? The answer for me is yes. I'll answer first, and then I'll let Jonathan answer. For me, my favorite moment in this was, I can't remember her name, but it's Yasui's little girl.
Toko.
Toko, that's it. Toko is with. It's actually Oden's father, who pretended to be a blacksmith and all of that. And I forget his name.
I think it's
anyway.
Well, his fake name is Hitetsu.
Yeah, Hitetsu is his fake name. His
Yeah.
real name I forget. But anyway, it's not that important. What's important is the moment where they're writing their messages on the what are they called? The things that float up in the air with the candles?
like the lanterns.
The lanterns. They're writing the messages on the lanterns. And initially she writes something like what was it? I miss my daddy or something like that, I think. But then he explains her father's sacrifice, and instead of that, she changes her message to something like "Thank you, Daddy" or something like that. And that just got me. I'm a father. I have daughters, and the tragedy of that and Yasu's sacrifice was one of my. Actually, I thought it was the key moment in many ways in Act 2, and I'm glad we went back to that, because let's not forget the people who gave up their lives in this cause. There's celebration at the end, but there was great beauty I felt in that moment where the lantern is being, raised up in the air, floating up in the air, and it's a real moment of connection and remembrance, and beauty, to go along with the flower petals, as well. I just thought that was just the two things kind of synchronized very nicely, I think. The flower petals coming down and the lanterns going up, but I just felt there was a lot of beauty in that moment. So that's my favorite moment. How about you, Jonathan? What's your favorite moment?
I am going to cheat and give 2 because you reminded me of another moment and other people are talking about it in the chat. So I'll talk about my utmost favorite moment last, but my honorable mention is Yasui's sacrifice.
Yeah.
And that scene, oh my gosh, Oda knows how to build tension and hit a climax, because I got goosebumps during that scene of Yasui's execution. There was so much happening in that moment. There was him revealing who he was, him challenging Orochi, him reciting, I think he recites Toki's speech. There's also everyone running to that point and finding out who he is and remembering who he is. There's the point where he's actually executed and we get the reveal of the effects of the smile fruit.
Yep.
And oh my gosh, that broke me. I mean,
me too.
That broke me. The pain of not being able to cry and laughing at everything. And then of course, also Oda knows how to add salt to the wound with Toko going up to Yasui and using the toad oil on to try to use the toad oil to cure her father that Usopp gave to her and said it could cure anything. I'm like, oh my gosh, Oda. And then of course my boys coming in to jump in to save her, Sanji and Zoro.
Yep.
Pure cinema, as the meme would say. But so good. My utmost favorite scene though, it will be, and call me basic, but the Gear 5 reveal.
Okay. Still I think you have some company in the comments too. Yeah.
Yes.
Here we go.
Gear 5 is definitely one of my favorite moments, if not my favorite moment in the entirety of One Piece. As I said, like it was a moment where I just felt like everything made sense, and it not reinvigorated in the sense of like I lost any faith in Oda, and it just like strengthened my faith in Oda's writing, because it felt like everything connected at that point when it came to like who Luffy is, what he stands for, the idea of joy, as we spoke about, freedom that we spoke about, even to looking at the art style. Something that came to me was like, Gear 5 would not work in any other art style.
So true. Yeah.
And so it just felt like, oh, this guy just he constantly amazes me.
He knew what he was doing.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing. I'm just like everyone a lot of people criticize One Piece for its art style. They say it's too goofy and whatever. I'm like, you cannot do Gear 5 without the goofy art
It's
style.
you
It
got
just
he leans
complements.
into the
He leans
goofiness.
into it. He
Yeah.
leans into it. And then of course the Looney Tunes. I grew up on Looney Tunes.
Yep.
So
Oh,
there was
so did
all
we
of
all, man. I'm old, but Looney Tunes was around in the 70s even. So
yes, I know. It's I
yeah.
think it came out in like the 50s
Yep.
or earlier. Yeah.
Yep.
So that that being like Luffy's like broken power of like doing all the Bugs Bunny things that like just completely world bending.
Joy of life.
Um
Joy of life.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was so good.
What did you think of the alternative meanings behind opening the borders of Wano? Yeah, great question. We haven't touched on that really yet. So the whole time, I'm of course from the beginning of Wano thinking open borders, yes, because closed borders bad. But actually, there were good reasons, and there's a parallel here during the Tokugawa shogunate when they closed the borders. You could read that as a bad thing because they don't want to have any outside influence because it takes away their control over the populace. But you could also, in the context of those times during the Tokugawa shogunate, as many people know, there were a lot of colonial powers trying to make their way into Japan. And that kind of influence is a bad thing, right? They're actually trying to exploit Japan. So the idea is to keep out this stuff, right? So there can be positive reasons for closing yourself off from the outside as well. Just wanted to mention that, but also we get this explanation of how Wano was actually, geographically speaking, very different at one time. Like it was a much bigger mountain,
Yeah.
and then they had these walls built around it, and these walls have something to do with protecting Pluton, the ancient weapon that is beneath Wano.
Insane drop.
What? Yeah, we get the scene with Robin, and everybody wants to kidnap Robin here because she can read the poneglyphs. Yeah, the idea that actually opening the borders could mean releasing this weapon, right? So Oden's idea to open the borders could be a dangerous thing, and Momonosuke shows some good instinct there at the end when he's like, nope, 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 not just yet.
Not yet. Yes.
Right? And that prevents the world governments taking over at that moment.
Yes, interference.
Right.
Because even when Green Bull is Ryokugo, his name is Green Bull. his English nickname is, I'm gonna say Green Bull from now on. I keep forgetting. KIRI 77 said since Wano is not under the government, it's considered a lawless land and people don't have any rights. Right. And so and that is also probably why it was so easy for Kaido to come in and take over and Orochi and all of that. But also like the world is in a great place right now in One Piece. You know, the world government, the Marines, Wano being what it is, I thought it was a really great decision to see Momo go against his father's wishes or hopes.
He's become a leader. He has become a leader in making the decision. And when Tree Guy attacks, you know, he's like, no, we're not asking our friends to save us. We have to be able to save ourselves.
Yes, exactly. And they're not able to yet.
Yeah, great question. I don't know what Oden's motives were there. Clearly, he learned stuff while on his journey.
Yeah.
Momo understood the country is not yet ready to open up, and now we know it is also because opening them would literally remove their physical boundaries, keeping them safe with Pluton of all things.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so here's his name.
Ryokugo.
Okay. I'm sure I did not say that correctly, but the borders protect the country, but also when the Minks first arrived in Wano, the people were so unaccepting of outsiders that they were antagonizing the Minks for being outsiders. Great.
What's also interesting about that, though, is with their borders as well, they are very old-fashioned. They speak in a certain way. They're not that. They don't know that much about technology. Yep. They have a different word for hockey. They didn't know what hockey was. They have Ryu, which is hockey, but they call it something different. So on the other on the other end of things, it's like you can kind of see why they would be suspicious of outsiders when it's something that they've never seen before, you know.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Not justifying racism against Minx, guys. Just saying
Yeah.
I understand why they were a little suspicious.
And there's so many things that we're not even going to have time to talk about a lot. But yeah, the Minx play a big role in the whole battle, and they go all what is it when they have the moon over them and they become Sulong? They go all Sulong, and then you've got Sanji versus Queen. You've got Zoro versus King.
Yeah.
You've got Trafalgar Law and Captain Kidd versus Big Mom.
Big Mom, yes. That is
Luffy.
You need to watch these fights in these. I know you're probably not a fight guy, but you need to watch these fights in the anime also. They did a really good job. They did a really good job. It's not gonna be as maybe like emotionally moving. But
I love too though how Luffy doesn't do it alone. Like he does, Yamato has to step in for a while.
Yes.
Luffy's knocked out of the battle a couple times.
Kaido was throwing everyone got Kaido's hands, as it would say.
Yeah. But it is
the scabbards too.
Joy Boy that saves the day in the end with Kaido and Big Mom both buried, literally buried. Yes. Right?
Do you think they survived, Philip?
It's One Piece, so I have to think yes. I mean, there were some deaths here. We lost, like as I said earlier, Ashura and Izo are clearly gone. I don't know. I feel like unless I see a body, there was that. Of course, they're both buried, and then there was a big, huge like earthquake, like some kind of like magma spewing up from deep under. Yeah. Of course, it's Kaido and Big Mom. So if anyone can survive that kind of a thing,
it's them.
It's them, right?
PK Buggy asks, what do you think about Buggy becoming an emperor?
That's first. I was really scratching my head.
You didn't see that coming, Philip?
I didn't. I mean, people have been joking about Buggy the whole time I've been doing this. Like this guy who keeps falling up instead of down. Like he's a joke. He's an idiot.
He was a warlord before this.
He's made his way all the way up to emperor now. And not only that, but who's working for him? Mihawk is working for him, and Crocodile. What is that? Like both of those guys are like way too like powerful to be working for an idiot like Buggy. But
I think both PK and I have videos on Buggy and his inevitability as the future pirate king.
I'm actually hoping to do within a month Egghead, because this is by the way, thank you guys. This has been going so well. I've been loving this stream so much. And Jonathan is a big part of that. But I think I'm going to be reading faster and doing this within a month for Egghead. That's the goal. So definitely
I think you can
mid-July.
Oda definitely picks up the pace after Wano. I will say. And yeah, this has been, I would say everything since the Gear 5 reveal has been probably the best stretch of the One Piece manga I think I've ever read. Maybe since, I think I have like a nostalgic connection to Enies Lobby and Water 7. But I don't know. Oda knows what he's doing.
Yep.
He knows what he's doing right now.
Yeah, I have faith in the guy. He's proven himself again and again. So
also it's interesting. I've been telling a lot of my friends about this stream tonight. And I do think if we were going to divide One Piece into 3 acts, I do think that Wano is the end of Act 2.
Huh.
And I think I would say Act 3 after Wano is Act 3 of One Piece.
Huh.
I think we're getting there, Philip.
So we only have like 10 more years, you're saying?
Yeah. You joke. You joke. My educated guess is at this point 4 years.
4 more years. You heard it here first, folks. Jonathan, we're gonna in 4 years, everybody's gonna say you're a prophet. Yeah, for sure.
2032 latest.
Okay, all right.
Dense in a good way.
We got some love for Egghead here. I'm excited. I'm really excited for Egghead. I will have my tissues ready. I needed them in Wano. Absolutely. More
I
lore. Oh my goodness. My head is just I have to put my head back together with all the lore I got in this one, but
Yeah, I look at Egghead and everything that's been happening so far as the point in the story where Daenerys finally touches down on in Westeros.
yeah.
And all the storylines are now connecting. It's lore piece is coming.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I'm excited to be coming current. I figure it'll definitely be if not the summer, certainly maybe early fall, for sure. Because I've got Egghead and then I've got Elbaf, right?
Yeah. I don't think you'd be able to put the manga down, Philip, after I'm being so serious. We are One Piece fans are eating good right now.
It's a good time to be a One Piece fan.
It is
So
a wonderful time to be a One Piece fan.
we got some other predictions. Where you guys, this is absolutely written in stone now. So
Yeah, 2032 I think is a solid
4 years.
call.
Okay. PK Buggy says we maybe are nearing the climax of the entire series.
Agreed.
Okay. 6 to 8 years. We got a lot of predictions here. Yes, I'm starting to get the jokes. For sure. Oh, I love it. Nixon 5, One Piece 5.
Yeah.
Jonathan and I can agree with that because we're both around New York City.
Yeah.
We like it. We like it. All right. Well, I want to thank, I have a ton of thanks here. Here's another wonderful person here. Sandwich Magic, thank you so much. In a world drastically lacking sincerity, I really appreciate how sincere you are about your love for the series. This has been a great stream. Excited to hear your thoughts on Egghead. I'm so grateful to you, Sandwich Magic, and to all of you guys in the chat. You guys have been so supportive. All of you who've been following me on this journey, supportive and kind and just wonderful. I'm really glad I got to share this time with you and with my good friend Jonathan here, who's been a real supporter from the very beginning of this journey. You guys have made it so meaningful. Really, you've made it so meaningful for me to become a fan of this series and to appreciate everything more. And you've kept me away from spoilers and while sharing your experience and your wisdom with me. So this is just wonderful. I'm very, very moved, very touched by all of you guys. And Jonathan, big thank you to you. Everybody, please thank Jonathan as well in the chat because he's been essential to this, the journey as a whole, but I really think he's done a great job. And our two moderators, I didn't see any spoilers in the chat, so you guys did a great job, or everybody was just amazing. So thank you to everybody. Any last words, Jonathan?
I just wanted to shout you out. I mean, you were talking about sharing wisdom, our wisdom and experience with you, but you've shared your wisdom experience with us, with your knowledge of literature, your in-depth analysis of the story. I think one of the reasons why people love your channel so much and your videos so much is because you come from a place that we usually don't see in One Piece YouTubers and people who are covering the story. So I personally look forward to your videos because I'm like, I've read this story twice at this point. I've watched the anime maybe twice or three times at this point, and I love learning that there are still new things that I can learn about this story, and there are still new angles that I can view this story from. So thank you, Philip, for that, and also thank you for having me and having me share your platform this time. And thank you to our moderators as well and everyone who came in.
Yeah, thank you to everybody.
To join us.
And Team Replay as well. You guys are all amazing. Just a wonderful time. We're going to do this again. And I hope it'll be in less than a month. I'll be making announcements. So yes, Stand Demand, we are going to be doing it again.
Yes,
thank you
absolutely.
to you and to Chris here who have been awesome. You guys are amazing. And yes, let's do this as a monthly stream. I'm going to become current, and I'm hoping to do that. So, but guys, we're going to call it a night. Thank you so much. I'll be in touch. I'll be making announcements when I'm getting close to the next one, but it's going to be a live stream because this worked out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with this. So, all right. Thank you guys. And we'll see you in a bit. Take care, everybody.
Bye, everyone.